Hi folks, this is Karim Raouf for IT Visualizer channel. We'll continue our lab, the Terminator lab. This is the video number 31. I've been discussing in the previous video the following. I've been working now for 9 videos on how to deploy Windows 10 using the latest MDT or Microsoft Deployment Toolkit, in addition to or with the help of Windows Deployment Services. We have been working or we are been following the footsteps of uh, uh, a YouTuber called Daniel Brother Barbarius. This is the name of his channel. I don't know his name, but I think his name is Daniel. Anyway, Daniel has already done a great job in creating a series of videos on how to deploy Windows 10 using the MDT and the WS in very simple steps and very detailed documentation. So we are using his documentation as our cornerstone for creating our MDT environment. Okay, I will not do all of his steps, or I will not follow all of his steps that he have done in his lab, but I will take the most important steps and use it in my lab, and I will add a lot of things to it. I will illustrate some of his steps that he has done. Anyway, so I have been working now for 9 videos following the steps of Daniel Brother Barbarius. He has already written 2 text files or 2 documentation. The first one is prerequisites. We have already discussed it. This prerequisites text or document is telling us what the things we need to create our MDT lab, what is the software we need, or what is the software that we will deploy, what are the ISO images or the operating system ISO images that we will need in the deployment. Okay, so for example, we will deploy Windows 10. We need Windows 10 ISO image, and I will deploy Windows Server also 2022. So I need the ISO image of the Windows Server 2022 and Windows 11. So these are the prerequisites text file. This contains a lot of things we need before working on creating our MDT lab. And then the other documentation is called steps. Steps, this is the real steps or how we will create our MDT lab. What are the virtual machines that we need to create? What is the requirements, or what are the hardware requirements for this VM machines, or what are the resources or the hardware resources that will be allocated for these virtual machines? And uh, what are the roles of these VMs? So some of them will be a domain controller, some of them will be a file server, some of them will be a WDS. So we are following, or we are working now in the steps, or the second documentation, which is called steps, and we have stopped the last time at this section. Here we will discuss today a very important part concerning the WSOS. We need to prepare the WSOS to be ready uh, before we deploy Windows 10 on the machines using the MDT. So the WSOS should be uh, prepared and be ready to apply the updates for the deployed machines. For example, we need to have Windows 10 updates on the WSOS, Windows 11 updates on the WSOS, Windows Server 2022 updates on the WSOS. We need to have Office updates on the WSOS. We need to have a lot of updates downloaded through the WSOS and to be ready to push it to the deployed machines during our deployment of the VMs or the deployment of the machines. Okay, so we need to configure the WSOS, and we need to have groups, or we need to have computer groups in the WSOS. We have already done this before. We have a lot of groups in the WSOS. We have a computer group called servers, and then we have workstations, and then we have the test group or the test computer group. We have discussed this before. This is a special group that contains a couple of machines that we will test Microsoft updates on them before deploying to the other computers or servers. Okay, and so these are 2 computer groups. You have done this, or you have already created these computer groups, and then we need to decline some updates. Some updates we don't need. For example, 86-bit operating system updates. We will not deploy Windows 10 86-bit, and it's already Microsoft had stopped creating or stop publishing Windows 10 86-bit operating systems. Okay, so they are not being working or anymore, or they are not producing them anymore. Okay, so we need to decline 86 updates. We don't need them. Okay, because we will deploy Windows 10 64-bit systems. We don't need the ARM updates, okay, or the operating system or the Windows operating system for ARM 64-bit processors. We will discuss in details what is 86-bit, what does it mean, what we mean by Windows 10 operating system 86-bit, what do we mean by Windows 10 ARM 64 operating systems. We will discuss this. Okay, so we will decline some updates. There is some supersedence. What we mean by supersedence updates, there is some updates that they will not be installed unless another update is installed before it. This is called supersedence. We need to see if there is any supersedence updates that are needed. Okay, we need to see them and approve them. Okay, this is one thing, and we need to make some automatic approval rules. So for example, I need to the WSOS to automatically approve some updates. You all know that an update will not be downloaded unless you approve it and then allocate it or push it to a group of computers. So I need to make an automatic approval rule to approve critical updates and security updates and push them to the computer's test group, okay, to test my updates. This we will do it, okay, and we will sync, of course, or we will before that also, or during that, we will select some product categories in the WSOS. So we need to select a couple of products that we need WSOS to download the updates for them. Okay, we will add some products of Microsoft and some products of Microsoft and Microsoft products, not only operating systems, Office and other things. Okay, and we will schedule when the WSOS will communicate with the Microsoft website to get the updates. This is also one thing. Synchronize schedule. And what we will do, we will sync the updates. So we will select some products or Microsoft products and tell the WSOS to get the updates for them, and we will increase the speed of the download of these products by a script called bits foreground with PS1. We will use a script to increase the download speed of the WSOS for the Microsoft products. We will see that, and you will see that this is a very great PowerShell script. We will see what this PowerShell script, it will use a service called background intelligent transfer service. We will talk about this service and what does it do and what is its relation to the WSOS and other applications in the Windows. And at the end, we will just pin the MDT benchmark, or not benchmark, we will pin the MDT console so we can use it in the upcoming videos. So without further hesitation, this is only a brief about what we will do. So let's go and see that in action. So let's go there. Here we need to open our Oracle VirtualBox. We will open the domain controller, and then we will open our file server, which is not only a file server, it's a file server and the DHCP and a WSOS and an MDT and WDS. So this server contains a lot of roles. Daniel has done his lab in a different way. He has the file server separately on a server. He has the WDS separately, and WDS and MDT separately on a server, and the DHCP separately on a server. Anyway, we will do this in a different way, okay, because I have already set the lab in a different way. So now we are on the WSOS server. Okay, now this is the welcome banner. So we'll pause the video. Now we will put the domain admin account. Then we pause the video. Okay, now we will open the notepad++ and open the steps text file. This is the one that we have been following up in the previous videos. Okay, so we have stopped. This is the same, or I have shown you all this documentation. So here we first open the WSOS. Here we will stop at this one, configure the WSOS. Okay, this is for the bits foreground PowerShell script. This we will use to increase the speed of the download of the updates through the WSOS. Okay, so first we will open and get the script. We will copy the script and put it locally on our VM or locally on the VM hard disk. So before that, I think we will open the administrative tools. Let me see why I'm opening the administrative tools. I think here I'll open it to see maybe if the firewall is closed or open, but let me wait for a second. So no, here I will open the services. We need to check a couple of services before opening the WSOS. So the WSOS will not open unless there is two important services running. One is the Windows internal database, which is attached to the WSOS and the WSOS services. So we need to make sure that these services are running. Okay, so we will go and copy the script that will increase the speed of the download of the WSOS updates. So we'll copy this script and we will discuss what does this script do, or we will see each line in the script and see what does it do. Okay, so we paste it on the desktop. Now we will check a couple of services to see. We will see the Windows internal database. First of all, we can see that nothing seems to be abnormal. Okay, we need to go and see the Windows internal database. So we can see first the Windows deployment services is running. Okay, so this is correct. Windows internal database is starting. Okay, just we need to make sure that it is already running. Okay, so here you go, it is running already. Okay, and the WSOS service is running. So now we have the two services running. Okay, and the other services like SQL, remember we have installed SQL Server or SQL 2019 on this server. So I'm just checking the services before before working with the WSOS. So now we will open the script. Okay, this is the script called bits foreground.ps1. Okay, this is the script. We need to run it, and after running this script, it will initialize a service called background intelligent transfer service. This service will be responsible for increasing the speed of download of the WSOS for the Microsoft updates. But first, let me show you the script itself, and then we will ask the artificial intelligent Google Bard and Claude 2 AI to analyze the script and tell us what does this script do exactly, and what is the background intelligent transfer service, and what is its relation with the WSOS. Okay, so let's first see the script. If we pause it, so here you go, this is the script. This is only 3 lines. Okay, let me show you all what does Google Bard have to say about it. If you go there and see, here I'm telling him analyze this script and explain in simple terms and what could be the relation of this script to the WSOS, and explain what does the WSOS and what does the Windows service called background intelligence transfer service do, and its relationship to WSOS. Okay, this is the script. These are 3 lines. Okay, so let's see what is the answer of Google Bard. Okay, so let's see.
Sure, the script you provided is a PowerShell script that sets the background intelligent transfer service, bits, download priority for Windows Server Update Services, WSUS, to foreground. In simple terms, the script does the following. 1. Gets the WSUS configuration. 2. Sets the bits download priority to foreground. 3. Saves the WSUS configuration. The bits download priority determines how bits downloads files. The foreground priority means that bits will download files as quickly as possible, even if it means interrupting other tasks. The background priority means that bits will download files in the background, without interrupting other tasks. The bits service is responsible for downloading files in the background. It is used by many applications, including WSUS. When you set the bits download priority for WSUS to foreground, it means that WSUS will download updates as quickly as possible, even if it means interrupting other tasks. This can be useful if you need to install updates quickly. However, it is important to note that setting the bits download priority to foreground can also affect the performance of other applications. If you are not sure whether to set the bits download priority to foreground, you should consult with your system administrator. Here are some additional things to keep in mind about the script. The script must be run as an administrator. The script will only work if the bits service is running. The script will not affect the download priority of updates that are already downloading. I hope this explanation is helpful. Please let me know if you have any other questions.
Okay, so we can see here, this is the explanation of the script. Okay, it says what does it do and what is the bits intelligent service or bits intelligent service do and its relation to the WSOS. Okay, this is all done by Google Bard. So let's see the other explanation of Claude. Okay, so you see, I telling him the same. Analyze this script and explain in simple terms what could be the relation of this script to the WSOS, and explain what does the Windows service called background intelligence service do and its relation to WSOS. So let's see what does Claude has to say about it. Okay, this PowerShell script is used to configure setting related to the Windows Server Update Services on a Windows server. Here is a simple explanation of what does it do. Get WSOS server, this is the first command in the script, gets WSOS setting and configuration object. Get configuration retrieves the configuration object from the WSOS server, getting the configuration of the WSOS. Then set or configuration.bits download priority foreground equal true, sets the bits download priority foreground property to true. So here is setting the background intelligent transfer service priority to foreground. This means giving it highest priority. Okay, the opposite if you are putting it in the background priority. Okay, this property controls whether WSOS downloads updates using the background intelligence service at foreground priority or not. Setting it to true means WSOS will use foreground priority for bits transfer. Save saves the configuration changes back to the WSOS. So these are the 3 lines. Okay, these are the 3 lines. Let's see what does it say in summary. In summary, this script configures WSOS to use foreground priority for updates downloads via bits. Okay, the background intelligent transfer service is a Windows service that manages transfer of files in the background without interrupting other network tasks. WSOS uses bits download updates in the background. Setting the priority to foreground makes WSOS download updates faster compared to the default background priority. This is a point we need to focus. If you put the bits download priority to foreground and attach it or make it focusing on WSOS, okay, or the focus on the download of WSOS updates, this may interrupt other programs depending other applications or other programs using bits as their service for downloading. So it will only focus on the WSOS and neglect the other applications that may need download, or may need to download some files or something. So we need to make sure that your server is not, or this service uh, is not needed by other applications. Okay, so this is one thing also we need to take care of, or we need to focus on. I think maybe a question here we can ask. Let me ask a question here. uh, this is maybe a good one. How do we know the services, we know the programs and applications that use background intelligent service, intelligent transfer service, as how do we know that the programs and applications that use, how do we know the programs that depend on background services? Let's see if this will give us an answer. Applications, let's see. Okay, in a certain time, let's see what will be the answer. On a Windows 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 server, let's see the answer. Okay, here is a few ways to check the programs and applications that depend on the background intelligence service on a server or Windows server at a certain time. Use the get bits transfer PowerShell commandlet. This will show all current bits transfers and all process IDs associated with them. You can then cross-reference the PID to see which applications initiated the transfer. So here, this command will give you which processes, or which are the processes that are using the bits service, and through the process ID we can determine the application that has created this process. So this is an application needs to communicate with the bits service to download something. So he will do this by creating a process. Okay, this process will have an ID. So we can, through the ID of the process, know the application that asked to use the bits services. So this is one thing. Check the event viewer application log for events related to bits and see which programs are mentioned in the events. Use a tool like Process Monitor to log file systems registry and process activity in real time. Let's see in real time. Filter for events related to bits and inspect the process name. Check service.msc. So this is a console of services, and stop the bits service temporary. Then check for any application errors. So this is one thing. But this is the hard way. Okay, you stop the service to see what are the errors that will result according to or because of stopping the service. For any application errors or warning indicating disruption due to bits being stopped. Use the built-in resource monitor in Windows to view network activity and group by process to identify applications using bits transfer. Install a third-party network monitoring tool like Wireshark and analyze the traffic to filter out bits traffic and identify the associated program. Check the bits transfer queue directory. Okay, this is the location to see which applications have job queues. This is a very good one. We can use the last line and the first line to determine what are the programs using the bits as their download service. Okay, so this is one thing. This is a very good answer. We can go and continue. This was our answer to Claude. We can ask the same question. We can go there and ask the same question to Google Bard. Okay, if we go there and copy this one and try to ask Google Bard here, let's give it this answer or this question. So here are the programs, or to know the programs and application depend on bits in a certain time on a Windows server, you may use the following. Windows Performance Monitor, this was set by Claude. Okay, use the performance. Okay, open performance monitor. In the left hand, expand data collectors and expand the system node and select intelligent transfer service data collector set. Okay, here he is trying to capture data related to the bits. Okay, the bits service. Okay, anyway, try to capture data related to the bits service. Anyway, you can use bits admin command line. If there is something like this called bits admin, use the bits admin command line utility. Bits admin command line can be used to manage bits jobs and transfers. To view the programs and applications that are currently using bits, you can use the following. This is a new one. Okay, let's see or search for it. Okay, yes, this is correct. Just to verify that this is a tool, this is not something not created by the AI. Okay, so this is one also another good info. Using a third-party monitoring tool, this is also set by Claude. Okay, so this is a good answer actually. It is not as detailed as Claude, but give us another utility we can use to see what are the programs using bits as their download service. So this is a brief about the script and its relation let me first I need something here. Let me go and prepare something here. So this is something or related to the bits. Let's here prepare this one because we will talk about it later. So let's go to the script, okay, and begin implementing it. So now we have a good explanation about the script, what does it do, and then we need to implement it. After implementing the script, we will see that the bits service will be running, okay. So if you go to services, we will see that the bits service is running. Okay, if you go there, start, and then control panel. But before that, what we'll do, I need to create a console. Okay, you right click run and then MMC. We will create a console. This is a blank console, and then we will add a lot of Windows Server consoles here. We will add the DHCP, we will add the WSOS, we will add the file server. So we will create a custom console that contains all of the Windows Server consoles in one place. Okay, so we will add DHCP, and then we will add the Windows deployment, for example, Windows deployment console as well. So we will add a lot of consoles. This is a very good tip for the system admins. If you need to collect a lot of Windows Server tools in one place, this is the way. You create a blank console and then add all of the Windows Server tools or consoles in it. Okay, the DHCP console, Windows Deployment Services console, a lot of things actually. We can add the server or file server resource manager console. We can add a lot of things. We can add disk management console, event viewer console. So we can add a lot of things. Okay, so let's wait. So here I have added the DHCP, Windows Deployment Services, File Server Resource Manager, then Update Services. This is the WSOS console. Okay, and we can add the server or SQL Server Configuration Manager. This to check the SQL Server services. We can add also services console to check the services on the server. So we can add all of this is services console. We can add it. This is the local services on the server, and we can add Microsoft Deployment Workbench. This is the MDT console. So as we can see here, we can add a lot of tools in one place. Okay. Okay, event viewer. If you need to check the events on the server, this will be done using the event viewer console. And this can be done either on local on the server, so you can have an event viewer to check the events local on the server, or remotely. So all of these tools can be used to check things remotely on remote servers. Okay, so this is this computer. Okay, disk management for this computer or other computers. Okay, shared folders. This is also a console to check the local folders that are shared on the server. Okay, this is a very important one because this will be a file server. So we will add also the task scheduler, because maybe I need to check and create some tasks on this server. So we can see this is a couple of tools that will be added to this blank console, and then we will name this console and save it so we can use it later. And before that I need to unpin. So this is all, or these are all consoles. I don't need them anymore because they are already included in the combined console. Okay, this console. Okay, so we will pin most of them. I will leave only the SQL Management Studio pinned to the taskbar. So all of these are already pinned. We will save this console, we'll give it a name and save it on the desktop. Okay, main console, save it on the desktop, and then we can go and begin configuring the WSOS. I need to add or to select more Microsoft products and let WSOS download them. So we go to options and then products and classifications. We will begin selecting some products we need Microsoft to sync updates for. Okay, this we will use most of these updates or most of these products during the deployment of Windows 10 and Windows 11. So, and we also can deploy Windows Server. So these are all products we will select. You can choose what fits you. Okay, but this was chosen by Daniel Brother Barbarius. So for example, we need to choose NetFrame 6 because we have already installed, or we will use the NetFrame 6 in our deployment and our capturing process. And we have Visual Studio also. We have already Visual Studio 2019, Visual Studio 2022, 2012. We have NetFrame 6. Remember, this was in the prerequisites text of Daniel Brother Barbaris. So all of these need updates. Okay, Windows 10, and then we will continue. We need Windows Server because we will install, or we will capture, a Windows Server 2022 image. So this depends upon your needs. Okay, so for example, this is related to Windows Defender antivirus. Okay, okay, so here I'm just revising Daniel Brother Barbaris video and see what he's selecting in the WSOS products. Okay, BitLocker. Okay, because he will, in his lab he is implementing BitLocker. Okay, so he need updates for the BitLocker administrator or MBAM, Microsoft BitLocker administrator management console. Okay, so this is one thing. We need to get updates for Microsoft 365 Office. I don't have Office 2016. Okay, and then we have SQL Server 2019. Okay, this is already installed. We need updates for it. We need to have updates for Microsoft SQL Management Studio version 18. This is the SQL Management Studio we have downloaded. Okay, but I have already selected 17 by mistake, so we need only version 18 updates. Okay, and then we will continue selecting a couple of products. So this is all preparing the WSOS to download updates and push them during the deployment of Windows 10 or other operating systems. Okay, so we'll continue selecting. We need the update for Microsoft Defender antivirus. Okay, and then we have select Windows Server operating system updates. Okay, so we are still selecting WSOS products. Okay, I think I have missed one of the products. I think, yes, SQL Server Feature Pack, and unselect SQL Management Studio version 17, and then continue selecting the other products. Okay, Server 2022 hot patch category. So these are all related to Windows Server. This is for the Microsoft antivirus. So we'll continue selecting. This is for Windows 10. Okay, 21H2 and Server 21H2, because this version also applies for clients and servers. Okay, Windows 10, Windows 10. So we can see it is a very repetitive process. Okay, we are just selecting the products that we need to get updates for. Okay, we need language packs if you need to install Windows 10 language packs, if you have different language environment or different languages in your environment. Okay, so feature on demand, Windows language interface packages and language packages. Okay, okay, this is Windows 10 1903. If you have older or need to deploy older Windows 10 systems, but you should deploy the latest one. Okay, okay, and Windows 11, of course, if you need to deploy Windows 11. So as we can see here, this may differ from one environment to another. Okay, but this is our scenario. If you need to get updates for Windows Server Manager or WSOS Windows Server Manager, I think this is Windows Server Manager. Okay, anyway, so we'll continue choosing the products, and I think we had reached the end. Okay, so these are the products that we will get updates for them from the Microsoft website. Okay, now we will go to a critical process. These are the computer groups. We will see that we have a lot of things actually, but anyway, before that we need to check and see what are the servers and workstations that report to the WSOS. We can see here that this server This is an old server, brother. This is the old additional domain controller that has a Windows Server 2012 installed on it. We have removed this from the network, but here WSOS saying that it didn't report from a long time, and this is normal because we have already removed this server from the network. Okay, so you need to remove it from the WSOS, and we will see other servers reporting as well, but this server didn't report from a long time, and there is some updates that are needed by this server. But anyway, we have already removed the server, so we don't or we will ignore that it was not reporting from 17 uh, of June, April, January, February, this 1702 February. We can see here that we have done here, I have added the column to the WSOS console, last status report, last contact. There is two columns. Rust reported when was the last time the WSOS created a report for it, but when the last contact, when was the last time the WSOS communicated with the client or server. This is very, very important. If you need to know when was the last time it communicated with the server or the workstation, so this is very, very critical. Okay, so anyway, this is failed or needed. If you tell him any, he will get all of the clients and servers reported to WSOS. We can see here, this is our primary domain controller, this is our file server. So both have 100% installed updates, and they have reported recently. So we are now sure that our servers are up to date. Now we can go and decline some. Before that, we need to see what are the updates that are downloaded. So first of all, before that, after checking the products, we need to go and tell him to sync with Microsoft website, and then go to the updates and see what are the updates that are downloaded. Not unapproved, any except declined, and status any. Here it will get all of the updates downloaded and waiting for your approval. Okay, so these are all updates. We need to decline updates we don't need anymore, and we can do this by a simple thing. If you right click and tell him needed count, if you have this column added, then it will show you what are the clients needing this update. If you added the column needed count, it will give you first of all, sorry, here what we have done here, let's go further again. Here what we'll do, we need to add supersedence, first column to add. Here we will see some icons here. What does this mean? If this blue icon it is on the top, then that means that this update doesn't, or it's not superseded by another update, so it is not depending on another update. For example, this update, okay, it needs another update to be installed before installing it, because it is in this section. If the blue isn't at the top, then that means that this update doesn't need any update to be installed before it. Okay, so we need to check and see, okay, what are the updates that are supersedes, okay, and if we need, or the updates needed to be installed before installing a certain update, we need to see if any clients are needing these updates or not. Okay, so this is something we need to decline the updates that are not needed anymore. So let's see first how we will decline some updates. First of all, we have added the supersedence column, okay, and we will arrange them. Here we can see that I will show you all something here. If you go up, now we can see something here. We can see here that here the blue is at the top. Then that means that this update doesn't, it's not there is no update needed to be installed before installing this update. Okay, so this is a good sign. Okay, any other else, if the blue is at the bottom, or at any other of the three three tabs here, then that means that it is superseded by another update. Anyway, we will add another column called needed count to see what are the clients needing these updates. So if before deleting any updates, you need to make sure that it is not needed anymore. Okay, so this is one thing to focus on, okay, the needed count. Here before that, we can see, for example, these are the updates, okay, that are supersedes. All of these are, until this one, all of these are superseded updates, okay. Okay, so here you can see that here is sign. This update is superseded by other update. Before you decline any superseded update, we recommend that you verify it is no longer needed by any computer. So before declining this update, you need to make sure it is not needed anymore. So we need to always check for supersedes updates and delete them if they are not needed anymore. Okay, so this is one thing also, or one of the routine tasks done by system administrators, mostly on the WSOS every now and then, to delete supersedes updates and updates that are not needed anymore. Clean up your WSOS server. There is a wizard to do that. I will show you all how we can do that, and I have already 6 videos in my Transformers lab concerning how to maintain the WSOS. Please check them and see them. Anyway, so now we need to go and search. So here, these updates are for not only downloaded for 64-bit systems, but for 86 and for ARM 64-bit or 64. I will show you or I'll explain what are these updates and what do they mean. Here, we need to sync, okay, with the Microsoft website to get the updates anyway, sorry, before that we need to go to the search, okay, search action, okay, and check for some updates, okay, or first to decline the 86-bit. So we tell him x86 for 86 and then find now. This to search for the 86-bit operating system downloads. Okay, you cannot choose or tell WSOS not to download these updates. He will download them by default, so you cannot unselect them. So we need, after downloading the updates, to decline 86-bit updates for operating systems and for ARM. So these are all updates for Windows 10 86-bit. Okay, we will not use 86-bit in our network. We will load 64 bits. Let's see a little bit of a brief by Google Bard. Okay, what is Windows x86 operating system and what does this mean in simple terms? Let's see what does it say.
Windows x86 is a 32-bit operating system that runs on computers with x86-based processors. The x86 architecture is a family of instruction set architectures, ISAs, that was originally developed by Intel in 1978. It is the most widely used ISA in the world, and is used in most personal computers, servers, and embedded systems. A 32-bit operating system can only address 4 GB of memory, which is not enough for many modern applications. 64-bit operating systems, on the other hand, can address much more memory, up to 16 exabytes. This makes them more suitable for running demanding applications and large datasets. Microsoft stopped supporting 32-bit versions of Windows in 2020. This means that you can no longer install or upgrade to these versions of Windows. If you are using a 32-bit version of Windows, you should upgrade to a 64-bit version to get the best performance and security. In simple terms, the Windows x86 operating system is a 32-bit operating system that can run on computers with x86-based processors. It is no longer supported by Microsoft, so you should upgrade to a 64-bit version of Windows if you are still using it. Here are some of the benefits of using a 64-bit operating system. Can address more memory. Can run demanding applications and large datasets. More secure. Faster performance. If you are not sure whether your computer is running a 32-bit or 64-bit operating system, you can check by opening the System Information app. In the System Summary section, look for the system type entry. If it says, x86-based PC, then your computer is running a 32-bit operating system. If it says x64-based PC, then your computer is running a 64-bit operating system.
So this is in simple terms what is 86-bit operating system. Let's see what does Cloud 2 says about that. So the same. What is Windows 10 86 operating systems and what does that mean in simple terms? Okay, Windows 86 is a version of Windows operating system designed to run on 32-bit x86 processors and architectures. Here is a simple explanation what that this means. 86 refers to an instruction set architecture first introduced by Intel. This is a type of processor, okay? So this is an operating system to run or certain type of processors created by Intel, okay? 32-bit processors and operating systems can only utilize up to 4 GB of RAM. This was said by Google Bard. Windows 86 versions are designed specially for processors. Okay, we have seen this or we have said that. This includes most built PCs before 2005. So this version of Windows worked with most of PCs manufactured before year 2005. Okay, they cannot fully take advantage. We have seen this take advantage of newer 64-bit processors and hardware capabilities. Okay, mainstream support for 86 ended after Windows 7. So this also was said by Google Bard, but Google Bard answer is much more rich, okay, and detailed. Running Windows 86 on a 64-bit capable machine will not allow it to use all of the available RAM and performance capabilities. Okay, in summary, Windows 86 refers to the 32-bit versions of Windows designed for older 32-bit PCs and hardware. It does not support newer 64-bit processors and large amount of RAM. Windows 86 operating systems are now outdated and has been replaced by 64-bit versions. Anyway, so this is a short answer, not as Google Bard says, but it is enough for us. Let's go and decline them or decline these updates. So as we can see here, we will select them all and then decline. And then we will decline another type of updates called Windows ARM 64-bit, okay? This is, or the operating system, Windows 10 ARM 64-bit, it is used for mobile phones and portable devices. This is not used for servers, okay? So we need to decline them, and here is another. So we'll decline them, and we will also have a little bit of a brief about what is Windows 10 ARM 64-bit operating system. Let's go and see another explanation about this. Let's see also Google Bard has to say about that.
Windows XARM64 is a 64-bit operating system that runs on computers with ARM64-based processors. ARM64 is a newer instruction set architecture that is designed to be more efficient and power efficient than x86. Windows XARM64 is still in its early stages of development, but it has the potential to be a more efficient and powerful alternative to traditional x86-based Windows systems. Here are some of the benefits of using Windows XARM64: more efficient power usage, faster performance, support for newer technologies, such as 5G, potential for better battery life. However, there are also some drawbacks to using Windows XARM64. Not all applications are compatible with ARM64 yet. Some performance may be slower than x86 due to emulation. Cost of ARM64-based computers is higher than x86. Overall, Windows XARM64 is a promising new operating system that has the potential to offer better performance and efficiency than traditional x86-based systems. However, it is still in its early stages of development, and there are some compatibility issues that need to be addressed. If you are considering buying a new computer, you may want to wait until Windows XARM64 is more mature and has a wider range of compatible applications.
It is basically used on on portable devices. For example, what is ARM processor and what devices use ARM? So this is another answer that says that ARM is used with portable devices. Let's see what Google Bard has to say about that.
An ARM processor is a type of central processing unit, CPU, that is based on the reduced instruction set computing, RISC, architecture. RISC architectures are designed to be simpler and more efficient than complex instruction set computing, CISC, architectures, such as the x86 architecture that is used in most personal computers. ARM processors are used in a wide range of devices, including smartphones and tablets, laptops and notebooks, wearables, such as smartwatches and fitness trackers, Internet of Things, IoT, devices, such as smart home appliances and sensors, networking equipment, such as routers and switches, automotive electronics, such as infotainment systems and self-driving car technology. ARM processors are chosen for these devices because they offer a number of advantages, including low power consumption. ARM processors are designed to be very power efficient, which is important for battery-powered devices. Small size. ARM processors are typically smaller than x86 processors, which makes them ideal for devices with limited space, such as smartphones and tablets. Low cost. ARM processors are typically less expensive than x86 processors, which makes them a good choice for budget-minded devices. As the demand for more powerful and efficient mobile devices continues to grow, ARM processors are likely to become even more popular in the years to come. Here are some specific examples of devices that use ARM processors: Apple iPhone and iPad, Samsung Galaxy smartphones and tablets, Google Pixel smartphones, Microsoft Surface tablets, Amazon Kindle Fire tablets, Nintendo Switch hybrid console, Raspberry Pi single board computer, many Android TV devices, many smart home appliances, many networking devices, many automotive electronics. I hope this helps.
So the Windows 10 ARM 64-bit operating system is used on ARM processors. Okay, so this is basically, and what are the devices that use ARM processors? This was said by Google Bard. Let's go and see what does Claude has to say. Okay, Claude says in simple, Windows ARM64 is a version of Windows operating system designed to run on ARM processors. So this is one good thing. Here is a simple explanation of what this means. ARM 64-bit is a 64-bit instruction set architecture designed by ARM for newer 64-bit CPUs. Windows ARM 64-bit is optimized specially for devices running ARM processor. This is on smartphones, tablets, and some laptops. Takes full advantage of power efficiency and performance capabilities. Windows ARM 64-bit system enables always connected, long battery life experience on mobile devices with LAE modems or ARM processors. It uses emulation to run existing 32-bit 86 Windows applications seamlessly on ARM, so he can run 86-bit applications on ARM. Okay, mainstream for or it was beginning produced with Windows 10 version 1909. It's continuing with Windows 11 as well. In summary, the Windows ARM 64-bit it is a 64-bit version of Windows for modern ARM-based mobile devices and laptops. It brings optimized power efficiency and native ARM app support to Windows on ARM. Anyway, so this is a kind of operating system basically used on laptops and mobile devices, and this will not be the case in our deployment lab or deployment environment. We don't need this kind of operating systems, so we will decline them, and then we will go and continue. Okay, so now I've declined most of the updates, and we need to decline the superseded updates, but before, make sure that no computers need them. We can see here count 1, 2, that means that certain PC need these updates. Okay, so this is one thing to consider. Now this is are not superseded updates, okay, because the icon is at the top. Okay, anyway, so now we can go and uh, these are, if you need to approve them, if you already declined all of the updates, then you can approve the rest of them, and we will apply them to the test group. We have seen this is a best practice uh, experiment the updates on a group or small group of computers. Okay, so now we have approved the updates. Now we need to what we need to do, we need to make sure that we have automatic approval rules. Okay, we need to configure the automatic approval rule and the synchronization schedule. Okay, we have done this already, I think. We need to go and do something. We need to go first and uh, I think I need to run the server or the WSOS uh, cleanup wizard. Okay, you need, if you need to clean your WSOS database, you can use the server cleanup wizard. Okay, before that you can configure the automatic approval rule to approve updates and push them to a certain computer group. This can be done. So here it is not activated, you need to check it to be active, and here we can see critical updates and security updates are approved to all computers. This will not be the case. I need only to approve them for the test group. Okay, and then you can click on it and then apply and okay. Okay, so this is how we can configure the automatic approval rule. Okay, this is one thing. And another thing, you need to make sure advance here to all of these are clicked or are checked. Okay, decline updates with a newer version. If you have some updates are expired, they need to be declined. So we can go to the server cleanup wizard. If you need to clean up some updates and to clean up your WSOS database, this can be done from the server cleanup wizard. Okay, you can check what you need to clean and then next, and it will clean up some space from the WSOS database. Okay, so this is basically very simple thing to do. Okay, so basically you can see this, all of the consoles are working. These are the shared folders on our server. Okay, the open files on our server. Okay, so these are all of the consoles. Okay, we will use some of them later. We will use this MDT console. Okay, this is later, we will use it later. And this is for this is the DHCP console. Okay, just checking, and then we will save the console and then we can close it. So after finishing all of that, we need to disable the bits service. Okay, so we have already downloaded the updates. After downloading them, we need to disable the background intelligent transfer service and return it back to the background priority. Okay, this is, we need to do that. Do not forget to do that. Okay, so we will run it, and then after that I think this is the end of our video. Let's see if there is anything else we need to do. I think I will shut down the servers. Okay, I think so. We will close the console. So we close the console, I think. Yes, maybe. So this is the SQL SQL services. You can see from here the SQL services state. Okay, and we can see the services, all of the services from the services console. Okay, if we go and see the background intelligence service, we will see now it is already disabled, or it's not working, it is manual. Okay, so this is another thing to note. After running the script, the service was disabled and it will return to the background priority. Okay, so I think now we will close the console, or so we close the server. We will do that for the other servers. Okay, we'll do all of that shutting down. Okay, so we will stop at this, and the upcoming video we will work with the MDT console. Hope this video is informative for you all, and thank you all for viewing. Thank you so much.